I want to start off, though, with Amanda Staveley's comments, and coming to you first, Chris, on this. I don't think that's particularly fair. That was her comment on the whole situation and involving politics, of course. What did you make of this? I mean, it's caused a little... It did stir things up a little bit, let's just say.
Yeah, so Amanda Staveley was at the Financial Times Business of Sport summit in London last week, and she was asked about various different elements. So she was on stage for about 25 minutes and a lot of stuff about Saudi Arabia's PIF and sort of the controversy of owning Newcastle. And understandably, the Chelsea situation came up. She was actually asked a question which was more about whether there are any parallels going forward with what's happened with Russia and Chelsea and what potentially could that happen with Saudi Arabia and Newcastle United. She gave quite a long answer where she said that no, she didn't see that being an issue. It's a separate situation. And then just before she finished giving the answer, she then made the comment about, I don't think it's fair that Roman Abramovich is going to have a club taken away from him. And then she caveated that by saying, but we should all take responsibility for the relationships that we have. Something, I'm paraphrasing, but something along those lines. I thought it was a naive thing to say. I think it didn't really read the room and the sort of situation that everyone is in at the moment. I thought it was a bit of a strange thing to say. I suppose you can sort of see the argument to an extent from someone who is a football owner, but equally, I just don't think that anyone has any sympathy for a billionaire, and given the situation that has happened, the horrific situation in Ukraine at the moment, and any potential Russian involvement there. So I just didn't think it was something she needed to say, something she needed to get involved in. And I think that's something hopefully she'll learn from going forward, to just not make comments like that, even if that is her personal view. I just think it reflects negatively on her, it reflects negatively on Newcastle United. And I just thought it was very naive.
Ollie, your thoughts on that?
Very much the same as Chris's, really. I mean, it was a strange one because she didn't need to say it. She wasn't being asked directly that question. She just sort of said, "Oh, well, I don't think a club, an individual should have a football club taken away from them because they know somebody." Now, the situation is that there is. Well, we're in the midst of this sort of clampdown on the influence of Russian oligarchs with links to Putin, and there are all these measures or all these sanctions being threatened or being taken by some groups and maybe not by some countries at the moment. But so Abramovich is part of that. Nobody has told him he must sell, but he feels clearly that the time has come that perhaps with him coming under so much scrutiny, it's better to put to sell Chelsea to somebody else. But it's just comes back to me to something that I've written about so many times, but where I don't think a club should be owned for reasons of somebody's. It's for the benefit of a state. If it's a state trying to promote itself and trying to strengthen its ties in a certain country, or I don't think it should be owned by an individual like Mike Ashley for sort of pushing his sports retail empire. I don't think it should be used for sort of somebody trying to clean their reputation and make them untouchable in their own country or internationally. That's probably a very purist, outdated view, but I just think we have to look at the reasons football clubs are being used, and in some cases abused, not Chelsea abused, but certainly used, and think, how did we get here? How can we get out of this? And the likely sale, planned sale of Chelsea will be, it's a big step for Chelsea, but it's probably a very small step for football towards a more normal situation.